continuation to the last video, come to the next part of the electronic spectra of transition metal complexes. Moving to the next very important topic, it is nature of electronic transitions and spectra of transition metal complexes. Here we will also study the Orgel energy level diagrams. So here I have shown here the spectra of the D1 and D9 ions. So octahedral complexes of the metal ion with D1 configuration. Here the example chosen is that of titanium. It's complex with water, 6 molecules of water. They are surrounding this center metal titanium with 3 positive charge on it. So if you know that titanium, so it will be 3D14S2 because so that means it is a D1 metal complex. Okay, so in a free gaseous state, if the gaseous state is the free one, in that case it will remain as such. The 5d orbitals are degenerate and no electronic transition is possible. Hence, there will be no spectra of D1. But when this ion is in complex form, then what happens? The electrostatic field of the ligands splits the d orbitals into two groups. One is the Eg and T2G. So that means when the titanium is present as such, only titanium is present, there is no splitting, but when it forms the complex, then there is a splitting into T2G and the Eg. So this is the simplest example, and the splitting which is shown here, so that means transition will be T2G to Eg. So there is one transition, so we are expecting only one band which is occurring here. It is shown here, the band is here, and this band is at the 20,300 centimeter inverse. So the energy corresponding to this wavelength corresponds to green and yellow light, which are absorbed from the white light, while the blue and red portions of the light are emitted. So this means the titanium solution of this complex, it will be purple. The intensity is weak because we know that DD transitions, they are Laborde forbidden, but there is some relaxation. Now, since the magnitude of the splitting, it depends upon nature of ligands and affects the energy of transition. Therefore, the frequency of maximum absorption vary in the spectra of these complexes. So that means titanium, if the same complex is instead of water as a ligand, if there will be Cl or fluorine, the difference is what? Or cyanide ion. What will be you found? When instead of water there is cyanide ion, we will expecting the highest crystal field separating energy. It is 22,300. But when it is chloride ion or it is fluoride ion in place of water, then it is only 13,000 and 18,900 respectively. And they obviously will appear in the different colors. Next is that of octahedral complexes with D9 configuration. Now D9 configuration, we can take the example of copper. Copper, water 6 true positive. So it can be explained as the same way we explained the titanium 3 positive octahedral complex. Now again, the splitting will be, but levels will be T2G, and the Eg transition is T2G to Eg, right? And there is a single hole in the upper Eg level. So energy level diagram, it is shown here. We expect only one band, and the band is approximately at 20,000 centimeter inverse. To the case of D2. Orgel diagrams. Now, what are Orgel diagrams? Actually, these are the plots which depict the variation of energy levels of spectroscopic states of different symmetry as a function of field strength. Now, these are very simple diagrams because excited state of multiplicities different from the ground states are omitted, and we only take weak field cases. So Orgel diagram, it is applicable only for the weak field cases. and it can predict only spin allowed transitions. Transitions are assumed to occur from the lowest energy level. Now we know that D1, D4, D6 and D9, they should also give only one DD absorption band. As we have discussed, D1 and D9, similar is D4 and D6. So these four configuration, there is only one absorption band, means there is only one excitation which occur from T to G to EG. So right hand side of the Orgel diagram, it applies to the octahedral complexes. I'm going to show here, yes. So D1, D6, D4, D9. So if we talk about it octahedral, so this part right side is shown for the octahedral. So transition is from T to G to EG. And for tetrahedral, everything is same, we just omitted G. So D1, D6 tetrahedral, so that means this is for D1, D6 tetrahedral. This is for D1, D6 octahedral. Then, which is tetrahedral for D1, D6, it is octahedral for D4, D9. Which is octahedral for D1, D6, it is tetrahedral for D4 and D9. Now, in the D2 case, between the free ion and the complex terms, we know that D2 ion, the state is 3F, which is the ground state, then there is 3P. So 3F, the splitting, it will occur like T1G, T2G, and A2G, and 3P as T1G. So the transitions which are possible here, that we can relate and octahedral complexes of metal ions with D8. Similarly, you can explain for the D8. I have taken example of nickel water 6,2 positive. So we will expect here two peaks and there will be excitation from A to G to T to G and A to G to T1G. So with the expand will be like this. This is the Orgel diagram for free ion F ground state. So now we will discuss the rest one which are D2, D7, D3, D8. Now in these cases, there are three absorptions which are observed. So the Orgel diagram, it seems out to be like this. High spin complexes of D1 to D4 and D6 to D9 configurations. So the information about the number and relative energy of available terms of the same multiplicity as the multiplicity of the ground state for the case of high spin complexes. So high spin complexes means weak field that we have discussed in the starting. So weak field, high spin, strong field, low spin. So it is enough to have two diagrams for the cases. So in general, all the weak field or the high spin complexes, in case of Orgel diagram, we can simply explain them by these two diagrams. So this diagram I have already discussed. So by these two diagrams, we can simply describe them. The Orgel diagrams from D1 to D9 for octahedral and tetrahedral complexes can be summarized as, only 5 Orgel diagrams are required. Only 5 Orgel diagrams they can represent the all D block transition metal complexes, whether octahedral or tetrahedral. There is relation between the two. For example, the Orgel diagram for D1 octahedral, it is same as that of D9 octahedral, and it is inverse of D1 tetrahedral, which is equal to D9 octahedral. Similarly, there is a relation between the others. So these relations are the result of hole formalism. The hole formalism means the configuration, if it has 9 electrons, it means one is a hole. It is related to same configuration if there is 1 electron and there are 9 holes. That is why D1 octahedral is equivalent to D9 octahedral. There are certain limitations of the Orgel energy level diagrams. No doubt they are useful for interpreting the spectra of transition metal complexes, but there are two limitations of Orgel diagram. First is they can be applied only for the weak field or the high spin complexes. And secondly, the Orgel energy level diagrams consider spin allowed transitions in which ground and excited states are of the same multiplicity. Or you can say excited states of multiplicities which are different from that of the ground state, they are not considered by the Orgel energy level diagrams. So that is why there are the another diagrams which are the Tanabe-Sugano diagrams. Tanabe-Sugano diagrams, they interpret the electronic spectra of the transition metal complexes more accurately, and they can be used for both the high spin and the low spin complexes. And the Navier-Steno diagram, the main feature is the ground state is used as a constant reference. And moreover, this Orgel diagrams where it fail in determining the electron placement, the Navier-Steno diagrams can be applied to situations where this 10 DQ, it is significantly greater than the electron repulsion. So here we have shown the diagram for the D2 octahedral complexes. So these are the Tanabe-Sugano diagrams, and they are represented like this. Here we write delta O by B. These diagrams include both strong and weak fields and hence are more comprehensive than the Orgel diagrams. So in these diagrams, the energies of electronic transitions depends not only on the arrangement of electronic state, characteristic of electronic configuration, but it also depends on the metal ion. So to make the diagram general for different metal ions with same electronic configuration and to allow for different ligands, both the vertical energy scale and the horizontal delta O scale, they are divided by the parameter. Here the parameter which is used here, there's delta O by B horizontally scale and the vertical scale is E by B, which is this B. B is called the Raka parameter. This Raka parameter, it is characteristic of the metal ion in the octahedral complex. Therefore, the axes are plotted in the units of delta O by B and E by B. The ground state is always taken and as the abscissa in the horizontal line. So we have taken here the ground state 3F, as you all know. This provides a constant reference point and other energy states are plotted relative to this. So we know energies of spectral transitions are due to differences in energies of certain excited states from that of the ground state. So it is easier to use the diagram if the baseline is the energy of the ground state. Then the vertical scale, it measures the difference in energy of the excited state from the ground state divided by B. Thus, the Nabe-Sugano diagrams make it easy to calculate E by B above the ground state. Next important point is the Nabe-Sugano diagrams also include low spin terms. That is where the spin multiplicity is lower than the ground state. For example, here we have shown for the D2 case, example is vanadium water 6 positive complex, and it has been simplified by showing all the energy levels of the states of maximum multiplicities because it is only these states that are involved in the transitions. So transitions, which transitions are possible here? It is T1G, or you can, yeah, it should be here G. G is missing here. In both all the cases, there will be G. So T1G to T2G. Then T1G to T1G P. This is from F. This is from P. And T1G to A2G. So we expect 3 absorption bands for vanadium. But actually there are 2. Now what's the reason? The reason is that in the solid state, a band attributed to T1G to A2G is observed at 38,000 centimeter inverse, which is very high. So all these transitions, they are shown here in the figure. Hope this presentation help in better understanding of the concept and clearing your doubts, and you all excel in your exams, and in the situation of COVID-19 way we can learn. So keep learning, stay positive, stay home. Thank you.